Today I wanted to talk about one of the books that I've read. More so because I feel like this book is really relevant today. So I read this some time ago, and it's a book that I go back to every now and then because it really helps me remember what's important. And when I'm having a really tough day, books like these are really helpful. What I'm gonna do today is I'm just gonna go over some of the pages that I marked. Usually when I'm reading, if I like something on a book, I'll just like fold a little bit of the page. First part that I made a note on here, I guess, or made a little mark by folding the page was on the section about attitude determines success or failure. So this book is called Attitude 101 by John Maxwell, and he is one of my favorite authors. I read a lot of his stuff, and I feel like it's really helped me to develop my leadership skill sets and just think about it in a perspective of like trying to help others. So going back to the note that I really liked about this part was that attitude really does determine success or failure. So if you choose to think about things or see things with a negative light, then that will definitely draw a result on how you perform. Sometimes, I mean, we're all human, and sometimes we do get, really into kind of like that negative mindset. And for me, I can be one of those individuals that it can take me time to get out of it. But I've learned that no one is going to take me out of that mindset. I am the only one that can take me out of that mindset. So I have figured out different skills to kind of like help me get out of a rut and get back on track to working on the priorities. And it also changes my attitude. And then the next part that I noted on here was physical appearance, how we look to others. People can read things off of us, whether it's like on our face or our body language, or even like the way we dress. If you're feeling a certain way, people that are close to you, or at least family members or like colleagues that are involved with you on like a daily basis, can tell when something is wrong. And so it's up to you to change your mentality so that your attitude reflects that. Even if you're having a tough day, you switching that mindset to telling yourself, okay, fine, that thing in the morning or whenever didn't go how I planned it, but I'm not gonna let that, override the rest of my day. That will be read by other people. So your body language is part of that physical appearance. So that's something that I feel has helped me a lot. Even with like parenting, sometimes I really just want like a little break, or I want some time to myself, but I don't want my daughter to learn that she is not significant or not important to me in that time when I'm like so tired, because she is. But I feel like sometimes as parents we can get so overwhelmed that sometimes we react without really thinking about how the other, or how like our children sees us. The way that you respond does play a role in how your child develops and how they see things now and in the future. So whenever I am having like those times when I'm a little bit stressed or tired, I try to just like keep myself together and like breathe. I want to be transparent with her so that she also learns that it's okay to have transparency with other people and tell each other what our feelings are. So that's what I took away from that piece. And then the next piece that I marked on here was changing your thought patterns. And I have done also a lot of research on habits, and it's very important to realize that what you do plays a role in who you are. And so I feel like before I wasn't having a really good routine on how I did things. I kind of just did the things I thought were most important, which sometimes were not, until I figured out a good way to balance out what my priorities were. And so truly my priorities. And so I think that in this piece, what I took away from it was to change my thought patterns and the way that I saw things. So not only changing my thought patterns and not thinking negative about myself. So if like a negative thought came and, you know, in regards to whatever it was, I would stop myself and say, okay, you're having this thought, so now change it if it's not something that's going to add value to you. So of course, this is something that took me a long time to really break down and like implement it the right way, because at first it kind of feels silly to talk to yourself and, you know, tell yourself to think positively if you're thinking negative at that time. But with practice, you know, anything can be implemented in your life. And another thing that I took away from here was changing your thought patterns in the way of how you visualize. So instead of telling myself things like, I'll never make it to this, or I'll never accomplish this, or I'll never get a chance to do this for whatever reason, I would say, I am in this place, or I am doing this thing, even if I wasn't at the time, because what you speak and what you think visually and like verbally really plays a role into how like the future turns out. And maybe I can make another video about this subject, but I feel like when you change your thought patterns to do or to be what you want them, so like, you know, change your mindset to what you want instead of what you don't have right now, it can really get there. Another thing that I marked on here was oh, this is a cool one. I like when I mark a page on like one side, I folded it here on the top, and then on the other side I folded it in the bottom, so I know that page was like really good. So on here it talked about so some things that I see on here are achievement, the right attitude about success. And I think that in this part I was thinking about more so like my purpose. And I think that I've always been one to know that my purpose is to help individuals, whether it's, you know, personally, professionally, or I feel like I just really like helping others. I like to be resourceful. So I think this really caught my attention, because having the right attitude about success, it all adds value to it, right? But it's where your mindset is that matters. So for me, I could, you know, I could sit here and tell myself, you're not doing what you need to be doing right now, or you're not successful right now because you're not helping as many people as you wish you could. But I am helping some people. So instead of having an attitude of like, I'm not doing it or I'm a failure, I can switch my mindset and say, I am helping people right now. Even if it's not, you know, the kind of magnitude that I want to leave in this world of like helping others, I'm still making a difference with some people. So last part that I marked on here was about how can a leader keep climbing. And this chapter was talking about something that I wrote that I also noted on here was like, leaders have to give up to go up. And I think that this chapter was like really important to me, because I love to learn. I thought a lot about how it's good to put your guard down when you don't know the answer. So to let yourself be mentored is what I mean. Because a lot of the times we can think that we know everything there is to know about a subject or a field or whatever, but the reality is that there's somebody else out there that knows something that you don't. And if you're a person that knows everything there is to know about a subject or a theme or whatever, let me know, because I want to learn from you. But nonetheless, I feel like personally, I like to learn by listening, and I accept that I am not the most knowledgeable one in a room or in a classroom or wherever it is. So that's why I like to be more of a listener and an observer first, so that I can see what I can learn from others, and I know what to bring from the table. If there's someone in the room that knows more than I do of a certain subject, then I will let them take leadership, and then I will add more in something else that I see we don't have anyone, you know, with that kind of knowledge. So I really like this book, because I feel like, especially when you go into something new, you don't know everything, and you have to be humble enough to let yourself be guided and mentored so that you can maximize and really get everything that you can from that activity. So those are all of the things that I marked. There's a lot more in this book, but I feel like those are the things that resonated with me the most. So I have a goal. By December 2020, I want to have read 100 books, and most of them have been in like personal development, leadership, business, stuff like that, because I really want to grow just in that sense. So far I'm like 30 books in. I'm a really long way from my goal, but it's something that I really want to accomplish. And I thought in the beginning of the year was going to be easy for me, to be honest, because I love to read, but the reality is that it really hasn't been that easy. So I know this is going to be a challenge that I'm going to enjoy, and hopefully I can get to the goal. I'll come on here some more and talk about other books that I've been reading. This is a super good book. It's a really short read. You could probably read it like in a day, if you have the time. If you have any books to recommend to me, definitely share them with me, because I'm always open to reading new books. But for now, I think that's it. I hope that you're having a really good rest of your day wherever it is that you are, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.